Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here and watching the recording, whichever you are, and welcome. So I'm going to show you how to embroider onto your crochet. So some of you might know the, sorry if I keep looking down, I'm like looking at the jewel screen there. So some of you might know the heart mittens that I make. And I'm just going to show you how to do either a heart, or you can just use the stitch to do whatever little logo icon. You can write words, you can, it's a very simple, is it a blanket stitch? I think it's not a blanket stitch. I think it's not a blanket stitch, but anyway, I'll show you the easy stitch that you have to do to make this kind of line. It's very easy on our crocheted mittens because we've got these nice big crosses to go by. So the first thing that you'll need is, in an email, anyone that hasn't received this, let me know and I'll just make sure that you get that in your inbox. You print it out, this PDF, onto an A4 piece of paper, or I mean, if you want to do smaller ones, then you could just shrink that, and it depends what kind of thing you're doing. So if you've got some like baby mittens to do, then you could just shrink that to the right size. So it kind of looks like a really wide heart, right? That is on purpose, I promise. It's not that I just have a funky way of drawing hearts. It is because of the mittens and the way that they twist. I'll show you on this pair. The way that when you put them on, the mitten like twists ergonomically around your hand, and then you lose a little bit of that edge, so that when you put, sorry, I've put hearts on both sides of this because I've done like demos of them. So when you put them together, then it's like a normal heart shape. But for me, I find it really important to carry it on because of different hand shape, different hand sizes, different, it just covers all bases if you just do it like a nice long edged heart. Okay, so just get rid of them. Wait. So now we have our template. We're just going to cut that out. I'm trying to look through my phone while I cut. That's not ideal. So we cut the part out and then we cut it in half. Well, that wasn't very good cutting, was it? Doesn't really matter. This is our guide. So then you decide what side of your mittens you want them on. I'm going to put this one on the inside. Like that. And then I'm going to pin those on. So that they don't move while I'm doing my embroidery. Now, a lot of the time, it's also quite handy to have a piece of card. This is a bit of a hack. A piece of card that you put up and inside, just to make sure you don't embroider both sides together, because as we can imagine, that is not ideal. Lovely heart on your mittens. Shame I can't actually get them on my hands. Yeah, so we just pin these on, and then what we're going to do is just like a really basic running stitch around, yeah, did that, around the outside of the template. I have a hack for that. So you get your little embroidery needle. Can't say the word embroidery very easily. Is anyone good at that? you get your needle and a piece of, so I've got this for my hearts, and you can get just a piece of another color for your guide. Oh, I've got a bit of loose there, that'll do. Now a hack that I don't know if you know about, I'm going to share with you, is because they're quite thick and hard to get onto the through the hole, sorry, I put a piece of paper, can you see that? So I get like a little piece of that size of paper. Oh god, that's really hard to, so like that size of paper, then I put the end in it and fold it in half, and it just gives you that tiny edge that you can thread on quite easily. We only need it one thread, and I'm just going to go through and around. It's a guide for the embroidery. And then I'm going to also tell you a few of the little things to watch out for when you're doing it, because it's not as bloody easy as you might think. There are these little things, annoying things that happen. Wish I had my glass. I have my glasses. Yeah, there's these annoying little things to look out for, and it's because the weave moves when hands go in, so you might have them looking perfect flat on the table, the heart matching up and everything looking great, and then you put them on and basically just the presence of your hand in the mitten ruins the whole thing. So yeah, it's always a good idea to check. Always a good idea to make sure you don't do anything too tight. You already know this because you're a crocheter. Don't do it when you're stressed out, because then it pulls everything together and then nothing stretches, or it all stretches wrong. So there's one of them done. And sorry, I just had a feeling that I wasn't recording then. That was really odd. Thank you to Lizel that popped in earlier as I was starting. She couldn't stay, but she just came in to say hi and check that I wasn't on mute. That's happened. Okay, then we're going to do the second one, and just before I start, I'm gonna be really cynical about my, I don't know, I think maybe I'm a bit anally retentive about all of this. I want it to match, sorry, get seasick. I want it to match up really well. Use my earpods. And obviously I know, you know, we love handmade and we love things being a little bit imperfect because it shows that we have been doing it with our own hands and whatever. I do love the charm of that, but also I've been making these to sell to other people for so long that now I'm just like, I need to do it as perfectly as possible, because if I was making them for myself, I think I would be a bit more chill about the whole thing. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm not now. I've got about 20 pairs myself, so the rest of them are for everyone else, and I want it to be as, if I can find a hack to make them as perfect as possible, then I like to try and do that. Okay, so that's us with our guidey strings done, and then we're going to take off the templates just to check how they are, how the heart is looking. And I'm going to try on the gloves as well. Again, just so I don't have any surprises. I try them on all the time as I'm making them as well. So, what do we think? I mean, it looks all right, but I am aware that this one, it looks fractionally smaller. So I am going to embroider on the outside of that guide string, guide thread. And then, yeah, just going to bear that in mind as I embroider on that one. Okay, now I'm sorry if the dog barks. She just heard something driving past. And yeah, thinks that everything going past is something like a dragon about to attack us. So she will do her job and we will do ours. Right. So this is my thread that I'm going to use. It's this lovely, like, it's got some bamboo in it. I think it's so soft. Okay. And I'm going to use that little bit of paper again. Hold it over the end. Get my needle. Thread it. Now this time it is, oh God, I can't remember if it's, no, it's just gonna have to check whether I remember. Okay, it is a double. So I'm gonna, I guess, about, just to be safe, about like 80 or 160 centimeters long. Better to have too much than too little, right? Okay. So the other thing that you could do, so I've got this in a double because I quite like this, that thickness of line. If you want it thinner, obviously, logically, just one thread, or you could have a chunky yarn. So this one I'm going into the, just going to move over a bit. I'm going into the outside of this, aren't I? I'm going to go all the way around the outside of the thing. And I'm going to start here just to get my ends all threaded in. Start here. You have to make sure that this part you can see in quite good focus. I used to have a phone that like switched the focus the whole time, and these were impossible. I'm hoping my newer one is better. Okay, and now I'm just gonna do a little sewing over the top just to keep it in place, to knot that. I mean, obviously this is not really, it doesn't really unravel itself, this embroidery. It's not a point of much stress, this one, but always good to be careful. Make sure, double sure, because hopefully these are going to last forever. You don't want someone needing to put it into landfill just because the heart has unraveled itself, do you? Right, so now we've got our anchored yarn there. And what we're going to do, I wonder if I should come in a bit more with this. Whoa, that is close. That is close. Okay. Oh God, I can't even see what I'm doing if I have you that close. Okay. These things are great, but they take a bit of practice to get used to these. All right, so now what we're going to do is create this, a loop. And this is where, sorry, I'm shouting. This is where the like card to go in there is handy, just to make sure you don't embroider through. But I'm just gonna be aware of that the whole time. And I only embroider onto the surface. I don't go all the way through the layer. So we're just gonna see that it's about 2 stitches across. I'm following this guide and I'm just gonna go like that, and it's going to create this little, I take my time here because of course these are like decorative stitches, so you just want to make sure that it's coming through and looking as good as possible. And not too tight. That is the aim of the entire thing, is that we do like a relaxed stitch, because of course if you were to make a really tight stitch going like that and then round like that, it would bunch the whole mitten in towards the palm. That would look a bit naff. We don't want to ruin all of our hard work making the mitten, do we? Okay, so then we're going to do another one, and hopefully this is going to get easier and easier to show you. It is about, I guess I do a stitch that's about 1 centimetre. You see that? Centimetre length. You don't want to make it such a big stitch that that it gets caught on stuff, but really small. And I think the line can be a little bit ruined sometimes, because you do want that kind of clean line looking. Well, I do. You can obviously do what the hell you want. These are your mittens, and this is your personalization. You can do a wonky heart if you choose. There's a charm in that, definitely. Okay. But the one thing that I really think is important is that you stay relaxed so that the stitch doesn't get super tight. Okay. And then we're just gonna I think you can see the stitch when I'm filming this close, right? The other side, see if I can see a bit better. And I'm staying on the outside of the guide thing, the guide thread, because as I noticed earlier, this one looked a little tiny bit smaller than the other side. I don't know, did anyone else see that? Maybe it's my eyes playing up, paranoia, but it is just so annoying when you haven't noticed something like that. Sometimes it twists. Could you see that? I'm just gonna go in and unhook this one and then twist it round so it's an untwisted stitch. Someone probably knows what I'm doing that causes that. Sorry if that's really annoying to have seen. Just making it up as I go along here. Right, so as I go along, I'm just making sure it's not like caught up or looking funky. And then you go into that looped area along centimetre or however long you want to do it, and then through, and you make that loop like that. It's a bit more complicated if you don't have chunky yarn to do it. If you want it this thickness, the 2 threads make it yeah, there's room for error. Some of them, sometimes one of them is tighter than the other. It takes a little bit more time. So I should have been easy on myself and got some chunky yarn, shouldn't I? But you know, if you're using just like some of your yarn stash, you've probably got DK or 4-ply. I think. In my mind, I think you've got that in all these lovely colours. So it's good for me to show you this way to do it as well. Like I would have none of this fiddling. This is my thingy. Video is going to end in 10 minutes. That's fine. We can do this in 10 minutes. I'm going to speed up a bit. If anyone is making these as gifts for Christmas, I would so love to see pictures on Instagram, EcoWare on Instagram. Yeah, send me, or just do them if you're not in the Facebook group. My God, please join, and then you can just post them up in there, because that would be great. It's a great little community of other makers, and posting. I think most of the people in there are making crowns. That's my most of my customers are crown pattern customers, to be fair. Although it's these heart mittens, like if it's not crafting, a crafting community, it's my heart mittens that sell the most, like in the shops, in the marketplaces and stuff. Heart mittens and these little smiley face ones. Maybe I should do a workshop. You don't need a workshop on the smiley faces. They're pretty easy, obvious ones to do. Would it be cool to see everyone's makes for Christmas? And if you haven't made a crown, then maybe you should do that, because everyone seems to love them. And they're also, if you make them in like a wool or something like that, my kits are with recycled cotton, but if you make them with something a bit warmer than cotton, then they're actually quite a warm, like winter hat. Not a winter hat, but they're like a warm ear warmer for people. And the size of them means I've got like options on the pattern for making them like one section smaller for babies, and then the ones on the main pattern are good for, I mean, like 3 years and up. The head is a weird one. It doesn't really grow loads after like 3 years or whatever. And with the stretchiness of the rib on the crowns, I haven't got any here to show you. It's weird. But the rib is really, really good. It looks like knitting, but once you get that rib into your crochet pieces, you have just as much stretchiness as a ribbed knit. It is really, really good. And yeah, means that you can cover more sizes. So I make those not just as party or playthings for kids. Make that, like, I've got a couple of customers that have got like them for them as an adult. One girl was like, it's brilliant, like when I'm cycling I'll just put my crown headband on. I love to imagine that. She's in Cambridge. Look out for her. She's in Cambridge cycling around with a crown headband. I don't want to be responsible for the fact that she's not wearing a helmet. I definitely know that a crown is not going to save her if she falls off her bike. Okay, so the last bit that I'm doing on this is I'm just going to go in and finish off. And then this doesn't need loads, because what I do is I go like that, finish off, and then I just feed it up again. I'm going to put it on to actually check that I'm not going through. I just feed it in, and then you've got like the ends taken care of, and it's really secure. It's not going to come out that far, is it? All right. So then chop it, and then you can take out your guiding thread. And then before I start my, I have crocheted over a bit, so it's a little bit tricky to come out. There we go. And then I'm going to chop the end a little bit. So there, that's one of them done. And like that means like however people are wearing them, hopefully the heart is still gonna show even when it twists around. Yeah. Sorry, I have a lot of like doubt about when I'm placing the hearts, just to, I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to suddenly realize that my shape of hand is completely different to all of my customers or something terrible like that. Okay, that looks good. Yeah. All right. And then I'm just going to do exactly the same on the other side. Considering that there was only a few, or there's only 3 minutes left, I might just leave it at that for the demonstration. And I do apologize that that phone thing, the phone won't let me record in landscape. So you've been like stuck between this tiny portrait shaped thingy. So when, okay, so now I'm looking at this, I'm just aware that what I need to do is go around exactly with the guide on that bit, and then just end a little bit higher than the guide there. And that will be perfect heart, hopefully, or not too perfect, just perfect enough. Thank you, everyone, and I hope that's been helpful. Get in touch if it's raised some questions for you. Join the Eco Pattern Club on Facebook, and I'll also attach a link to the this printout and the heart embroidery printout, and then yeah, these bits, and then also to buy the pattern kit, the mitten pattern if you need that still. And that is a fun little project. You could easily get that done in like a couple of evenings, I think. Yeah, it depends how fast you are, obviously, but the mittens are super easy to make. And as you can see, the embroidery it's very, very easy to do, but there is a lot of making sure you get the placement right, so that you avoid disappointment when you finish and put them on and go, oh, okay. Let me know how you get on, and yes, have a good November day, everyone.